Hello and welcome back, and I am doing something a little different this time. I am in my computer room. You can hear the computer running, you can see the bottom of my monitor. But today I've actually got something a little bit different. I'm actually going to do a review of a game. Well, not really of a game console. Well, you read the title. It is the Nintendo DS. You're probably thinking, why this? I honestly particularly like the large DS. I don't know why, I just do. It's original. It reminds me a lot of my Game Boy Advance SP, which is my favorite Game Boy. So it just makes more sense to me to have something that looks so similar to it, and it's the same color too. I got this at a at a pawn shop for only $30. It's, you know, not in great shape. I don't think I paid a very good price for it, considering the Game Boy Advance slot on it did not work, and it does not have a stylus. I have to use this stylus from a broken DS Lite I have. When I say broken, I mean it's broken. There's really, the main CPU's fried. There's nothing I can do about that, because someone thought they could fix it. You think those are fuses? I'm almost 100% sure those are not fuses, and they're capacitors, and the capacitors go out on them, and I don't know. All I have to say is that when people say just jump these soldering points is good for it, it's iffy. You'll fry the processor if it's a certain type. I don't know. But focus. There you go. But it's just a Nintendo DS. It works. It does everything the DS is supposed to do. Only $30. It wasn't that bad. Took a little bit of repairing. Had to fix the Game Boy slot. I have a rumble pack for it. It was only $4 at GameSwap. And then I have one DS game for it. Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution, which was $12. Which was $12, and you know, it's not really, it's not that great of a game to me. I mean, it's okay. I play it when I have nothing better to do, or I have really nothing to do at all, I guess, because it's the only game I have. But it's an okay game. I've heard mixed reviews about it. Maybe I'll do a review of my own on it in the future. But it works. It runs. It's only $30. A couple accessories. Need an SD card for it. Everything works. So pretty much I'm going to be doing a review on this thing. And I wish the sun would stop reflecting on it from the skylight. Let's go down here. We have DS games. Your little Picto chat thing. Let's see, we can go there. And if there was actually things in here, we could send a message to people. Send. Up here is where you receive and send messages. Down here is where you send them. I can actually bring it back. It's not that bad. Let's go back. Oh, back would be right here. And then quit. Yes, unfortunately with this thing, in order to go back from the main menu, it has to turn the dang thing off. I guess that's the only, you know, downside that I really don't like about this, is you can't interact with things at the main menu without having to go back all the time. You have your download play. Anyone knows what that is? It's actually very useful. And again, I'm going to have to restart the console. If I had my Wii turned on, I'd download a demo. That's actually something that a lot of people don't realize, is that you can download demos of games on a DS Lite or the original DS from your Wii console. You go to the Nintendo console, you go to the little DSi download service, and you go there, the Wii downloads it and then transmits it, and then you just go to your little download play thing here, and it will start downloading the demo, which is very useful, because I've actually got to play Kirby Mass Attack on this thing as a demo, and it was actually really fun. I'm gonna look into getting that game in the future. Oh, we turn that off, and we'll show you the. I guess I don't have to turn it off just yet. I'll show you the Game Boy Advance setting in the future. We come down here. You have Your alarm you can set. I do not want to set the alarm. You can turn the backlight on and off. You can come up here, and here's the menu for the Wii. You got your settings. Set the language. If I speak English, set it to here. You can set it to either manually select the game or automatically go to it. If there's an SD card or a Game Boy pack inside of the Wii or inside of the DS, it'll automatically launch one of those. I don't know if it does. If you have both in it, I need to look into that. But I usually have it set to manual because I like to be able to pick. We'll go to cancel, and here's your Game Boy Advance settings. You can set it to either be, I want this thing to focus, let's try to zoom, there we go. You can set it to the top screen or the bottom touch screen. I prefer it on top screen because the top screen is much clearer and crisp compared to the bottom screen. You can't really tell it on camera. Go back. And I think I just changed it, didn't I? Because, oh yes I did. For some reason I keep thinking A is back and B is select. You can go to your time. This is how you set the time and date. Set personal information about yourself. And then here's the touchscreen calibration. I've already done that. Yes, we'll restart. Alright, let's put a game in. Can you guess what it is? I already know what it is, but you're going to find out what it is. DS. By the way, when I fixed it, the problem with the, turn down volume a little bit, it's a little loud. The problem with the Game Boy Advance slot is the same problem every cartridge-based game console I've ever seen has at some point in its life. And that would be just dirty contacts. I cleaned contacts and it works just fine. Obviously, because it's playing the Pokemon Sapphire. This game actually came with it, so actually I think it's a pretty good deal. $30 for the DS, and it came with 4 games. A Game Boy Color game, which don't work on them, and then 2 Game Boy Advance games, Sapphire, whoops, bumped the camera, Sapphire, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Card, and then this one, Midnight Club Street Racing, which is really feels like I'm playing an NES game. It's very bright, crisp, and clear. It's pretty much the same exact quality as if you're playing on a Game Boy Advance SP model 101. Down the bottom, it's still like playing on the 101, only it's not as clear because the touchscreen interface, the touchscreen overlays kind of fades the color a little bit. So the top is really nice and clear and crisp. And to exit the game, you turn that back on. This is just an option pack. The option packs allow you to do different things with the DS, such as for this, it's a rumble pack. For other things, there's a web browser that plugs into the the DS card slot, and I dropped that. It plugs in up here. And then you have expansion RAM that goes down here, so you can browse the web on the DS. Of course, I don't have that, and I can't really do a review on it. I just know it exists. The system communicates wirelessly for pretty much everything. There is no docking connection. The only ports it has are headphone, microphone, or headphone headset jack, the card slots, and then the power connector, which is a standard Game Boy Advance power supply if you don't have one or it breaks. Excuse me.
This is Whiskey 7 Golf Hotel monitoring the 147300 machine.
That's the radio. I should probably turn that off if I can get to it. Turn the volume all the way. Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution. I'll do a review on this at some point in time. For now, here's what the game looks like. It utilizes both screens. You have the title up here, and then the Axis down here. And it uses the touchscreen as well. But of course, you can just use the standard buttons. There's only one game I know that only uses a touchscreen. I'm sure there's tons of them, but the one that I know was Kirby's Mass Attack, which only uses the touchscreen. These buttons don't do anything. You got your power button over here, dual speakers. That's pretty much all there is to it. Like I said, everything on it is wireless. There's no other way to communicate with it. You cannot play multiplayer Game Boy Advance games on this because there is no connection port, unfortunately. And you cannot play Game Boy Color games or original Game Boy games on it. It will only play Game Boy game or Game Boy Advance games. And the difference is, I'll use this one because it's darker. See the little notch here? Game Boy games and Game Boy Color games do not have that notch, and that notch prevents it from being... Without that notch, you cannot put it into a DS. So that's the whole purpose of that, I suppose. So it cannot play Game Boy Color games or Game Boy games. It lacks the processor in order to run those games. It has a little bit of the sound processor because some games, some DS games and Game Boy games, I don't know, not DS games, but Game Boy Advance games use that sound processor, and thus it has it, but it doesn't have it lacks one of the necessary processors. And it makes sense because the Game Boy Advance has to have two processors to run Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, and then the Game Boy Advance games. So that, and then of course this has to have its own processor for the DS games, which makes it a lot more difficult to be able to do. So being able to have three processors and it just was not going to be viable. So I guess that concludes this review. I can't think of anything else I want to say for it. There are many different versions of the DS out there. I like this one. I just like the design of it, like the feel of it. So if you have any comments, leave them in the description, or leave them in the comments below. The description will have some more information in it. And until next time, well, I guess I'll see you next time.